Imagine the challenge. How far could you trek through the wildest, most desolate landscapes, carrying only what fits on your back? No restocking supplies, no hunting, no foraging. Just your gear, your strength, and the food you carry. This was exactly the daring experiment attempted in June 2006 by 3 intrepid adventurers who set out to test the limits of human endurance and strategy in the remote expanse of northern Alaska. Roman Dial, a revered name in Alaskan backcountry exploration and a retired professor of biology and mathematics, spearheaded what he called the longest wilderness walk in America by fair means. Alongside him were Ryan Jordan, a Montana-based gear aficionado and the publisher of Backpacking Light, and Jason Geck, another Alaskan adventurer and fellow professor at Alaska Pacific University. Their mission was straightforward yet daunting: to cover the greatest distance possible on foot without any external assistance, carrying everything they would need from start to finish. They dubbed this ambitious venture the Arctic 1000, a nod to the roughly 1,000 kilometers they hoped to cover. Their journey began on the rugged shores of the Chukchi Sea on Alaska's western frontier, winding eastwards through the formidable Brooks Range, ultimately reaching the Dalton Highway. This 1,000-kilometer trek traversed what is considered the most isolated point in the contiguous United States, about 190 kilometers from the nearest road or human settlement. They carried all their essentials in their packs, relying on no foraging or help from others. Dial, known for his expertise in ultralight gear, managed to keep his base pack weight around an impressively light 7 kilograms. Starting with a total load of approximately 25 kilograms. After 23 days and 8 hours on the trail, Dial completed the entire 1,000 kilometers. Meanwhile, Jordan had to withdraw early due to an injury, and Geck left on day 21 because of prior commitments. On their final night together, Geck and Dial stayed in a hotel and even indulged in a cheeseburger, having traded some of their remaining food to enjoy this rare treat. Undeterred, Dial pressed on to cover the last 113 kilometers in just a day and a half, traveling with an even lighter pack. But what makes such an epic trek possible? Dial's incredible journey is grounded in a fascinating formula he's refined over years of wilderness racing and academic pursuit. His curiosity has always centered on a seemingly simple yet complex question: how far can you travel? How fast, and with how much weight on your back? His early observations revealed a tough reality. Every additional half kilogram you carry slows you down by about 1 kilometer per day, regardless of your fitness or experience. That means lighter gear equals longer distances, period. Using his mathematics background, Dial transformed this insight into a practical model anyone can apply. It boils down to 3 main components: maximum effort, the distance you can walk in a day with no pack at all; comfort weight, the weight of your base gear excluding food; food ration, F, the daily amount of food you need to fuel your journey. By subtracting the comfort weight from the maximum distance achievable without a pack, Dial defines what he calls the animal factor, A, essentially the core engine power fueling your trek. Let's break this down with a simple example. Imagine a hiker capable of covering 50 kilometers a day unburdened. They carry a 5-kilogram pack excluding food, and they plan to consume 0.7 kilograms of food daily. The animal factor in this case is 45, 50 minus 5. Using Dial's formulas, we can estimate the maximum distance equals animal factor squared divided by 4 times the daily food ration. That works out to 45 squared, 2,025, divided by 4 times 0.7, totaling around 723 kilometers. The total time to cover this distance equals animal factor divided by twice the daily food, or 45 divided by 2 times 0.7. Approximately 32 days. Amount of food to carry at the start equals animal factor divided by 2, meaning 22.5 kilograms. Thus, the total starting pack weight is 5 kilograms of gear plus 22.5 kilograms of food, adding up to 27.5 kilograms. This theoretical hiker could travel around 723 kilometers over 32 days, averaging 22.5 kilometers a day. This highlights the delicate balance between carrying enough food to last and not so much that it weighs you down excessively. The Arctic 1000 expedition put Dial's theory to the ultimate real-world test. The first week proved especially grueling, with heavy packs, waist-deep tussock grass slowing progress, and icy river crossings. Each night, the trio built fires from wood gathered in the wild to cook their meals, using tarps low to the ground to shield themselves from relentless winds, and shared sleeping quilts through warmth. Food on the trail was intentionally minimalist, but calorie-dense. Olive oil stored in soft bottles, almond butter, chocolate bars, ramen noodles, and mashed potatoes. Each man carrying too much food would slow them down. Too little would leave them starving and unable to maintain their pace. This expedition demonstrated the razor-thin edge in wilderness travel, where carrying just the right amount of supplies allows for maximum distance. Initially, Dial aimed to cover 850 kilometers in 17 days, and the Arctic 1000 showed that not only was this achievable, it could even be exceeded. Of course, this model simplifies some elements, omitting emotional resilience and nuanced physiological factors. For Dial and his team, the Arctic 1000 was about much more than logging 1,000 kilometers. It was a vital test of whether mathematical predictions about human endurance really hold true in extreme, unforgiving environments. It addressed a question that had fascinated Dial since his early days in wilderness racing. How far can a person travel carrying only what they truly need? 1,000 kilometers later, Dial had a definitive answer. But here's where it gets controversial. Does this model apply universally? What about varied terrains, different climates, or psychological limits? Are we comfortable reducing such epic feats to equations, or does the human spirit defy numbers? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Can any formula truly capture the wild unpredictability of the backcountry? Share your views below.